So, hello once again, everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Ediri Shobande, and I'm excited to be in the session with you all today or tonight, today, wherever you're joining from. I know we are all joining from different locations. There are some people from the UK, from the US, I believe, from Nigeria, and other parts of the world. Other people join as well. So, welcome. Um, my name is Ediri Shobande once again, and a little bit about myself before we go into the session. I have about 20 years of experience, over 20 years of work experience. Each time I say so, people find it hard to believe, but yes, that is true. Don't be deceived by my face or the way I look. I have over 20 years of work experience. Across different industries. I've worked in telecoms, I've worked in banking, I've worked in consulting, and in technology as well. And in the last couple of years, I have focused my attention on the data and analytics space. And I help organizations transform their data, get insights from their data to make decisions. And I also help individuals. I enjoy coaching individuals. I empower individuals. And that's why I founded the community, the data community known as the Professionals in Data and AI community. It's a WhatsApp group where we help and empower individuals, those who are transitioning to the data field. You're just starting out from a non-related field to data, or those who have been in the data field and they want to advance their career. So I enjoy that, and I get fulfillment when I see people thriving and succeeding in their careers. For tonight, we'll be looking at how to break into the data field, and we'll look at a practical roadmap. So there's been a lot of conversations about roadmaps here and there, but we want to look at something that is practical, something you can actually action, that you can start immediately. And I'll share my slides shortly. Okay, please let me know if you can see the slides clearly. It's going to be very interactive. At different points in time, I will ask questions because we are not so many here. I want you to be interactive. I want you to be part of it. And I want you to go back with something to do, a call to action. You will action whatever we're going to discuss here tonight. So please let me know if you can see the slides. I need a response. Can you all see the slide? All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Um, for tonight, we'll be covering introduction to data analytics. What is data analytics? We will look at why. Why should you choose a career in data? So we're answering the question what. We'll be answering the question why. We will also be looking at understanding the data career landscape. So we'll be looking at the question how. How can you transition into a career in data? First of all, you need to understand why. The why will be your North Star. The why will be, I always advise everyone to come up with a career vision statement. So it's the why that will help you come up with that vision statement. Why am I doing this in the first place? That's the why. And that is what will give you that inner motivation, because I tell you the truth. There will be challenges. It's not going to be easy, there will be a lot of setbacks. But then when you have your why, to keep pushing you on, keep pushing you on, keep motivating you. Then the how. When you know the why, then you need to know the how. How do you go about it? And then when is the right time to do this? When is it right to break into the career and data career? When is the right time for me to switch careers? When? And then that will be when we'll be looking at the different ways to break into the field. And then we'll look at some common challenges and some solutions to those challenges. In looking at when, we'll also look at who. We'll answer the question who. Who is this meant for? Is this data career meant for everybody, or is it just for a group of people? And then, of course, there will be call to action. So, by introducing data to everyone here, I'm sure that to a large extent, we already have an understanding or have an idea of what data analytics is about. So I won't spend so much time here, but I'll just, for the purpose of those who still want to know, understand what data analytics is about. Data analytics, simply put, is a process where you collect data, you transform the data, you analyze the data, and most importantly, you get insights from the data. And you use those insights to solve problems. So at every point in time, there's always a problem you are going to solve. You are trying to solve a problem, you are trying to make a new discovery, you are trying to research into something. So there is a reason why you're doing it, there's a why. So it's that process where you analyze the data and you get insights. And a couple of times, most of the time, you're solving a business problem, sometimes you're solving a health problem, you're solving an academic problem. It could be in any industry. So that's, in summary, is what data analytics is all about. And simply put, it's just a process that converts raw data into actionable insights. So that's why I have it here. From raw data, it goes through the process, and then you get actionable insights out of it. Now, having that introduction into what data analytics is about, the next question we want to ask ourselves is, okay, so if data analytics is about converting raw data into actionable insights, so why should I even care about it? Why should I, go for a career in data and analytics? Why should I pursue a career in that area? Why shouldn't I look elsewhere? We'll look at some, well, like five. There are so many reasons, but I've brought out five key reasons for us to discuss here tonight. The first reason is that, number one, there is a growing demand for data professionals across the world, across the globe. So you see, every industry needs a data professional. Gone are the days where you say, oh, it's just a tech thing, or it's just in a particular industry. Every industry needs a data professional in one way or the other, and across different roles. So as we go along, we'll look at some of those roles. But this growing demand is has made it possible has made it possible for there to be opportunities. So there are loads of opportunities, there are possibilities for you as a data professionals. And beyond just having those opportunities, there are also possibility in terms of your the style, the mode of work. So you can be in a particular location and you're working for a client or a company in another location. You can work remotely. So that makes it very beautiful. You can work on site, you can also work hybrid. So this growing demand has created opportunities for lots of us out there. So don't think that, the data field is saturated, or why am I going? No, there is still that demand. If you go out there, go to job boards, you see that there's still the demand for data professionals. Now the question is, how do you position yourself to take advantage of all those opportunities? Yes, there's a demand there, but some people will say, someone will say, oh, okay, so there's a demand. I've been applying and applying. I've made, hundreds of applications, still nothing. So how do you now position yourself? How do you begin to pursue this career so you can take advantage of the huge demand that is out there? The second important reason is that in the data field, it is not fixed. There's not just It's not a single entry point to go into the data field. There are diverse entry points. So it depends on your passion, on your skill set, even on your previous work experience, your domain, where you have expertise, your business domain. You can decide how you want to enter into the data field. Do you want to go in as a data analyst? Do you want to go in as a data scientist? Do you want to go in as a data engineer? Do you want to go in as a BI developer? Do you want to go in? You want to specialize in a particular area, so you want to go in as a healthcare analyst? Or you're coming from HR background, you want to go in as people analyst or HR analyst. or you want to go in as a financial analyst. There are so many entry points, diverse entry points, and that's what makes this field so beautiful. You are not trapped, you are not fixed, you are not locked that you must go in as a data scientist. No, you go in, you can choose your pace and go in at a particular entry point that you enjoy doing, that where you find fulfillment. Now, another fantastic reason, which everyone will say, yes, 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 this is the most important bit of it for some people, but I tell you the truth, at some point in your career, this will not be the most important bit for you. The next one we'll get to will be the most important bit. So the third reason is that it has competitive salaries and benefits. As a data analyst, as a BI, business intelligence analyst, as a data scientist, the salaries, the benefits, it's competitive, it's good. There is the good reward for your work, for the hard work that you do, because it's a highly skilled career path. There is reward for it. When we start looking at the different roles, we'll have a look at the salary range for those roles. From it's out there, it's you can check Glassdoor, you can check, you can research, you will see that as a data analyst, what you'll be earning will be between $50,000, even sometimes to $100,000 per annum. It can be that good. So, and even apart from that, there will be other benefits as well. So, yes, it has competitive salaries and benefits. The fourth one, and why I said that, oh, don't just jump and say, oh, the competitive salaries, that's the best part of it. No, there is high job satisfaction. Why do I say so? And I'll tell you why. As a data analyst, it's so satisfying and so rewarding when you see the work you are doing, how it is having direct impacts on the business. Why? Because the business is using the insights that you're providing to make decisions, to drive business growth. That is very, at some level in your career, when you get to a particular level in your career, that is what you'll be looking at for. How is my work impacting the business? How am I adding value to this business? And being in the data field, you can see there's a direct impact. You can see it because that is how businesses make decisions. So, while your supervisor wants to make a decision, oh, what's the data saying? What's the KPI? What are we doing in terms of revenue? What is our customer experience saying? Like, what's the data telling us about our customer experience? What can we improve on? What products are selling more? What do our customers love about us? You see, all of these things comes from the data and the insights that you are providing as a data professional. You will see that direct value that you're adding to the organization. And that's why I say there's high job satisfaction in this field. The fifth one is that there's opportunity for career advancement. So most of the time, maybe you start as at entry level. It's always very clear sometimes and easy for you to map out your career trajectory to say that I'm starting now. And in the next 2 years, this is where I want to be. In the next 5 years, this is where I want to be. I can assure you, when you put in your best and you're working hard, even if your current employer does not reward you, the industry will reward you. Why? Because as you are putting in your best, you are honing your skill, you are becoming an expert, you are getting better at what you do. And out there will be someone else, another employer or another company, another organization that will be looking for you and looking for that skill set that you have. And because the data field is forever evolving, it's always evolving. There's something new. Right now, everyone is screaming about AI. There's something new coming up at every point in time. So there's a huge opportunity for career advancement. All you need to do is to have a plan for your career and to have a map out that roadmap and to say to yourself, short term, these are my goals. Long term, this is where I'm going to. And that will come out from what I call your career vision. Again, I'm going to talk about your career vision. It is very important. As you start out, either you're starting out in the data career or you're already a professional and you're growing, you need to sit down and write your career vision. Put it to paper and put it somewhere on the wall where you see it. And it has to be a living document that you keep, updating. You keep revising it. In that career vision, you need to tell yourself the why. You need to use present tense and future tense. I am this and I am becoming this. This is who I am becoming. This is why I'm becoming this. And this is why I need this career. And this is why I need to grow in my career. That vision statement will help you. It will help you come up with actionable goals that will enable you achieve your career dreams. It is very important. Now we've talked about the why. Why should you choose a career in data and analytics? And the next thing we're going to be talking about is the how. The how. How? How can you go into this field, especially for those of us, those of our people here who are just starting out, who are coming from another role or another field into a data field, a non-related field into a data field? How do you go about it? That's the next slide that will come up in a bit. Um, Apologies. Yeah. In talking about the how, before I move on to the next slide, we will look at understanding the data career landscape. And that is when we will now look at the different roles in the data career landscape. And we'll also look at the different paths that you can take to break into the data field. There are so many rules. In fact, I have about 20 something rules that I came up with when I was preparing for this session. But because of time, we'll look at the four most popular rules. And we'll look at these roles, brief description about the roles, we'll talk about the roles a bit, and I've put the salary range there so that it can give us an idea of what you'll be looking at when we talk about competitive salaries and benefits. And this is just base salary from what I got from Glassdoor and other sites that I researched into. The first role is the data analyst role, and it's a very popular role. And why is it popular? It is because as a data analyst, it is entry level friendly, which means that even if you don't have previous experience on data, working with data or in the data field, this is a role that is entry level friendly. It can give you a soft landing, and with your domain expertise. Of course, you are coming from somewhere. Maybe you've had previous years of experience working in other roles, customer experience, or any other role. You can bring your experience on board and use it as a data analyst. And what do you do as a data analyst? In a nutshell, you collect data, you process the data, you analyze the data, and you provide insights to stakeholders for decision making. And some of the key essential skills that you require. We are looking now at the landscape, data landscape. So we're looking at the how, starting from looking at rules. Some of the major skills that you need as a data analyst are: one, you need Excel, you need SQL, you need to know a data visualization tool, how to use a business intelligence tool, which could be Power BI, Tableau. Those are the most popular. There are other tools as well. And why am I talking about this? It's because sometimes I've heard a lot of people say, oh, it's overwhelming. There are so many things to learn. How am I going to learn all these things? Just focus and narrow down to these three tools for a start. Remember, always remember, you don't need to know everything to start. Just start with these three tools. Get to know these three tools. We'll look some more, we'll discuss some more as we move on. These three tools, and then get ready and start applying. And the next role we'll be looking at is the business intelligence analyst. What's this role about? Here, you now need to go deeper into business intelligence using the business intelligence tools, because here you'll be building a lot of visualizations and creating dashboards and reports. And then again, is the same tools that you need as a business intelligence analyst. On top of that, You also need to know, you have some domain expertise. You need to know about the business. You need to understand the business you are into so that you can advise stakeholders. Because it's one thing to build a dashboard, that's not where it ends. It's another thing to make recommendations. So when you analyze data, you build your dashboards, you need to make recommendations. You need to tell your stakeholders what to do, call to action, the next steps based on the data that you have analyzed. And again, the salary range is between $60,000 to $100,000 for a BI analyst. That is the generally that is the salary range. The next role is the data engineer. This now is a bit more technical because here you'll be designing and building systems. You'll be designing data pipelines. You need to know about the ETL tools. You need to know about data warehousing, database design, and is ideal for those who have like IT background, or even if you don't have IT background, but you are passionate, you love working with systems, you love working with data systems, you can understand how to build the pipelines, that is fine. You go into this. Again, it's a good entry point for you. Required skills again, it would be your big data technologies. You also need to know about programming languages like SQL. As a data engineer, you don't necessarily need to know so much about building dashboards. However, some organizations combine all three roles in one. So that's why anyone starting out in the data field is always advisable. So you can keep your options open. You can have several options. Know these three skills: Excel, SQL, and a BI tool. In addition, if you now want to go into the data engineering career path, you can add these other skills to it, like ETLs, understanding your database, and all that. Because there are some job roles, I'm sure you'd have seen it, where all three roles are combined into one. You see the JD, you should be able to build pipelines, you should understand ETL too, you should be able to build dashboards, you should be able to analyze data, all three in one. So it's important you also have a good understanding of the basic and essential skills. And then the fourth one we'll be looking at will be the data scientist role. This more tends towards more of machine learning and techniques, understanding statistics, advanced analytics, because here you'll be building predictive models. You are going to be advising um, the organization based on your predictive models. You'll be providing insight. You work hand in hand with the data analyst most of the time because you don't necessarily need to be the one building dashboards. You don't necessarily need to be the one making recommendations on what the business should do. So you collaborate with either the BI analyst or the data analyst. And again, if you have mathematics background, you have statistics background, this is a very good area for you to look into. And the salary range is between $80,000 to $130,000. Now we've looked at some of the key roles and still looking at understanding the data career landscape and looking at the how. Now we're going to be looking at the various paths into the data field. And I think this is where we'll be looking at creating that practical roadmap, having it, mapping it out, putting your pen to paper and having that roadmap on how you want to navigate the data field. A practical roadmap. I've made this very relatable. I've tried to make it very simple and as practical as possible. So that right now, as we are having this session, you can already visualize in your head how you want to action this. And I have also broken it down into phases, 5 key phases for you. And in each phase, you can see I've recommended timelines as well. This will help put a framework and a structure around your roadmap. I'll take a pause here and just to be sure that we are still together. Can everyone still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
good.
Can
Thank
hear
you.
you.
Thank you. So the first phase in the roadmap, this is the core of this session, really. The first phase that we'll be looking at is what I call the exploration phase, right? And it's between 0 to 1 month. What do you do here? This is when you explore. This is when you research into the different data roles. And this is when you want to ask yourself, which of these roles do I want to pursue? You know, this is when you want to ask yourself, which of this role do I want to pursue? How? What do I want to do? You research into, okay, the different skill sets that you will need. And you also, in this phase, you begin to follow some industry experts, this 0 to 1 phase. You go on LinkedIn, you go on different sites, you try to connect with other data professionals. Why are you doing this? You begin to build a community, a network around yourself. Okay. Why are you doing this? You are trying to put a support system around yourself because it's very important. At some point, you will need that support system. So in this phase, you are joining data communities, you are following data experts on LinkedIn and other platforms, right? Um, you are exploring and checking out the different roles that are available in the job market for data professional, and then you also, very important, you also begin to follow hiring managers as well, so that you can see and have, when there are job opportunities, and sometimes you can reach out to these hiring managers when you are ready. So that happens between the 0 to 1 month. Now, the second phase, which I call the learning phase, will happen between 1 month to 3 months. In all of this, I have put everything within 6 months. Sometimes it takes between 6 to 12 months, to have a good grip on your data, navigating into the data role, and to be fully ready and fully prepared, having that confidence to go into the market, into the data market or into the job market, to start applying for roles or taking up responsibilities or new roles. It goes between 3 to 6 months to 12 months. So here I've put this for 6 months. You can achieve this in 6 months. Phase two is the learning phase, and this is between 1 to 3 months. This is when you learn the three essential tools that I talked about, especially if you are aiming for the data analyst role or the BI role. Even a data engineering role is also good to have this skill set, just in case, like I said earlier, you come across a JD that has all three in one for that job role. So here you learn Excel, you learn SQL, you learn any of the other BI tools, and you decide on different learning path. We'll look at that later. So you decide on different learning path here. If you are someone who is self-motivated, you can sit down on your own and learn on your own. Then you go on the self-learning path, where you go online, you check for different courses, and you do that on your own. That is if you know that you're highly motivated and you can keep up. And always remember, when you're taking on the self-learning path, 1 hour a day is more important than 6 hours once a week. Consistency any day is better than intensity. Consistency is better than intensity at any point in time, because it's that consistency that will keep you going. So every day you tell yourself, okay, I'll give 1 hour to studies, 1 hour to practicing my data skill. Do that every day. It becomes part of you and you get used to it. Or it's better than waiting for one day a week and you just do 6 hours at a go. No. So another option for you here in this learning path is formal education. So that's where we talk about the boot camps, the data boot camps, or you want to have, some people will go for a master's program. They want to have a master's degree in any of the data roles, data analytics, business analytics, different data skill sets or data domains. So that's the second option in terms of learning, the structured learning. So if you're a structured person, you like the classroom feel. and you want to have people around you, you want to learn with other people, then I would advise you to go for either a boot camp or go for a certification where you have a classroom that prepares you for it, or even a master's program or a degree program. And here I'll pause a bit um, to talk about the boot camp that we are also having in the professionals in data and analytics, and it is sponsored by Stevens Leadership Consultancy. If you look at all the slides that I have been using, you can see Stevens Leadership Consultancy there. This program, this free session, and even the bootcamp is powered by Stevens Leadership Consultancy. We have a bootcamp coming up in July. So if you enjoy the structured classroom feel, then that bootcamp will be for you. We'll drop it in the chat room. The enrollment for it is still on. Or if you need to reach out to any one of us later after this session, that is fine. You'll get more information about the bootcamp. That bootcamp will prepare you for the data roles because we are going to be teaching, not just teaching, there'll be practical experience on all of these essential data skills that I've talked about. We also have internship opportunity in the bootcamp. And so you have opportunity to work on real life projects during that bootcamp because we have already have affiliation with a global consulting firm. And so that will give us the opportunity to give internship to every participant and during that bootcamp. So having said that, we'll move on to the next phase, and that phase is the portfolio building phase. So now you have learned some new skills, you're getting comfortable, gradually getting comfortable with these new skills. And in this phase three, it will now be between the third month to the 6 months, and you begin to build your portfolio. You have the skills, you need to showcase your skills. You need recruiters to see your skills. You need employers to know that you have the skills. And how would they know? Because the job market is quite competitive. You want to build your portfolio, and that's where your data portfolio comes in. You want to build a portfolio and showcase what you can do. You know, in your portfolio, you want to work on projects across different lines. You can take a use case, a business problem, e-commerce, health data, financial data. Just take a use case, work on it, get your portfolio, and then host it. Host it on there are free platforms for you to do that. You can do that on GitHub. You can put a link on your LinkedIn page that leads recruiters or employers or anyone to your portfolio. You need to treat your portfolio, and in coming up with a portfolio, you won't just be flimsy about it. No, your portfolio, you are going to treat it just the same way you would treat your resume, because your portfolio has to speak for you just like your resume would speak for you. So this is where you begin to build your portfolio. You can identify 3 to 5 projects, work on them, and put it out there. And when you're putting it out there, make sure you clearly state the tools that you use, the business problem you are solving. That way you're showcasing your tools, you're gaining more confidence, and you're letting recruiters know that I can do this. These are the tools that I can use. These are some of the problems I can solve. You can also do it on Tableau Public. You can showcase your dashboards there as well, and we could provide the link, and recruiters can see what you have done. Portfolio building is very important. It does 2 things for you. It helps you to hone your skill, and then secondly, it helps recruiters to see you. The phase 4 of it, I put there's no timeline. It is ongoing because it's something that you have to keep doing. And that's your brand and your network. It is important. This is where you build a resume. You optimize your resume. Your resume has to be ATS compliant, has to be optimized. You build your LinkedIn profile. You make sure that you are showcasing measurable results that you have achieved. Your resume is in the right format that will be appealing to recruiters. And so this is where you begin to build your brand. In this branding and network, you may also decide to start publishing or posting things about around data once a week. You can do that weekly to bring you bring you out there so recruiters can see what you are doing. When you work on a dashboard, don't keep it to yourself. Post it somewhere, post it on LinkedIn, celebrate little efforts, celebrate the little things that you are doing. It's all part of branding, building your brand. And this is also where you network as well. You network with other data professionals, you network with other communities, you begin to build your network. It is an ongoing thing. And then the final phase, which crowns it all, is the job search strategy. I have a video or a session that we did here at the PDA community that talks about how to do your job search, how to apply for roles, how to optimize your resume for targeted roles. So you need to come up with a job search strategy. Like I always say, and I think it's a common saying, that looking for a job is a job itself. And that is how you need to put in commitment. Sometimes it can be discouraging because of all the no's, but remember, each time you get a no, it makes you stronger. Why? You need to ask yourself, why did I get a no? And then you go back and work on those weak points, work on your skill set again, and work on those things that you think are the reasons why you got a no. So your job search strategy is important. How you apply for jobs. Your resume, you have a base resume, first of all, which comes out from the branding phase. A powerful, powerful base resume. But remember, your base resume, you won't just be throwing it out to every job. You need to tailor it, you need to customize it. There are some specific jobs, some specific roles that you really want, and you really need to tailor your resume to suit the keywords in the JD for those roles. There are some other roles you can give out, you can apply with your base resume. That's fine. There are some roles you need to tailor your resume to suit those roles. Why? Because it all comes down to keywords. You already have the skill set, you already have the experience. What they may be looking for are just some keywords that you need to include in your resume, and all that comes into the job search strategy. That is the final phase, and that's how you begin to get those phone calls for interviews. And also part of your job search strategy is mock interviews. Take advantage of mock interviews whenever they come up. In the PDA community, we are always every now and then posting and asking who has an interview coming up. There we have free mock interview sessions. Take advantage of those sessions. Even if you don't have a role coming up yet, begin to prepare yourself ahead. Take advantage and prepare yourself, and just have that be in that interview simulation environment, so you prepare yourself ahead. Because when the recruiters come, you want to be ready. You want to be ready. You want your hard work of 6 months to speak for you. So that is the final phase for the practical roadmap. We will now move on to the different ways to break into the data field. But before we go into that, I will take a pause here and be sure that we are still together. Is everyone still hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, because I'm sharing my screen, so I can't really see what's going on out there. So, okay, yeah. Now I'm going to move into the different ways you can break into the data field. There are many ways, but I've come up again with about five key ways you can break into the data field. And as I talk about each of them, I'm sure it might resonate with you if you find yourself in that space. And please take note of your questions after the session. We will have time for Q&A. Different ways to break into the data field. So the first one is a self-learning path. I've talked a lot about that one. That I say is for highly motivated individuals, for people who can learn on their own and use all the learning platforms to learn. The second one is the formal education path. I've also talked about that. That includes the boot camps and also degrees. If you want to go for a degree program, that is fine. Now I will talk more on the third, fourth, and fifth one. The third one is a career transition path. And this is where a lot of people that I've come across find themselves, where they already have experience, years of experience in other fields. You know, They are mid-career professionals and they want to now transition into the data field. And they are asking themselves that, oh, do I have to start from scratch? How do I do this thing? I have some people have worked for 10 years, some 8 years, some 5 years, and they're asking, do I throw all those 5, 8, 10 years away? And my honest answer to that is no. You cannot throw those years away. They all sum up to your experience and they will come handy as your domain knowledge. So right now in that area you are a domain expert. So assuming you've had some years of experience in the banking industry, in finance, or in operations, in marketing, or even in healthcare, and you say you want to transition into data, you are a domain expert in that area. So what you need to do is to bring your domain knowledge into the data field, and it will make you a powerful force, a powerful candidate. Because I tell you the truth, those who started straight up into the data field straight from school and they just started going into IT or data, some of them are lacking that business acumen. They are lacking the domain expertise. They are lacking the business knowledge. So when they analyze data, they find it hard to make recommendations, to apply whatever they are getting from the data to solve the business problems. But you are coming with that business knowledge, you're coming with that domain expertise. So, what you need to do is combine your domain expertise with your technical knowledge or technical skill set that you're gaining in the data field right now and begin to transition. Do not throw it away. Instead, leverage it as a mid-career professionals. That's my advice for those transitioning in this path. Now, the fourth one are those who are coming from a strictly non-tech. They don't know anything about tech. Apart from maybe just using the computer, they've never even seen Excel before. There are some people that when they see Excel, they start having headache. They are used to maybe Word documents, documentation, and all that. They've just been doing maybe business, admin, HR, customer facing roles, and all. And they are asking, how can I do this? Can I come into the data field? And again, I say yes. And again, you are just like the mid-career professionals who are transitioning. You have domain expertise. But what I would say to you, if you find yourself in this fourth one, is try to focus on that area that you're coming from, the non-tech area where you have expertise. So for instance, you are coming from the HR domain. There's HR analytics, and there are so many roles. A lot of organizations that are looking for analysts, HR analysts, people analysts who will be analyzing their people data. So just imagine yourself sitting as an analyst. You know about HR, you are a domain expert in terms of HR, and now you are combining it with Excel, SQL, Power BI. Don't you think you'll be a powerful person? Before you know it, you are rising to become the head of HR department. Why? Because you are able to take all those HR data and make sense out of it. And you are able to um, um, help the organization to drive decision making in the HR area using data. That would be my advice. Focus on that area and begin to build expertise in that area and look for roles around that area. And you see that you will thrive and you do well, very well, when you go into the data field. Now, the fifth option of breaking into the data field is when you are still within your organization, your company. Now, for all the others that we've talked about, it's mostly for people who are moving, you are leaving your current company, you're moving to another company. It is quite tricky because now you're moving to a different company, you have not built trust yet. So it's like you're starting afresh, even though you're not starting afresh, but it's like you're starting afresh in a new place because you need to build trust there. You need to, build relationships. Now, for this fifth option, if you are lucky to find yourself in this fifth option, take advantage of it. And this is what I would say. This fifth option is for employees who are in the non-data roles, but you are still within your current organization. Mm? and you want to transition into the data field. And this is how you can do it. Within that current organization where you are, number one, begin to look for opportunities where you volunteer. When you hear of any projects coming up, a data project, go to the project manager or go to the manager, even if it is outside your scope of work. It will not affect your appraiser. You know that you will not gain anything from it in terms of appraiser. It is a volunteering thing. I can assure you. Try it. Go there and let them know that, oh, I would like to work with you on this project. I'll volunteer some of my hours. Don't worry. I know it's not going to be part of my appraisal. You don't need to appraise me for it. I'm just volunteering to help the team because I have the skill set. I want to help the team. Volunteer your time. Take up opportunities. When they are looking for somebody to lead a project or to do any job, anything relating to data, that you know you have been building skills for 3 months, for 6 months, this is the time to use it. On your own, begin to build dashboards. Look for areas where you can build dashboards. If you have access to data, build the dashboards and just send it to a stakeholder. For instance, you are in admin, your admin staff, build a dashboard on procurement, build a dashboard on vendors, vendor analytics. You want to analyze your vendors, you want to analyze how the cost, how much you guys are spending on each vendor. You want to analyze the quality of work or the customer service you're getting from the vendor, and you send it to your head of admin. Oh, I just built this dashboard on Power BI. The good thing about Power BI is that it's easy to use. The desktop version is free. And also there's free version for 3 months. So you can just build the dashboard and send to your admin, head of admin. Oh, this is what I built. And I think it's useful. Gradually, you will begin to, your colleagues, your supervisors will begin to see and notice your skill set. And before you know it, an opportunity will open up and you will be appointed to either lead the data team or become a member of the data team. So this one is a soft landing for those who have the chance to transition within their current company. Important advice there. So we've looked at the why. We've looked at this. What we're talking about now is the when. When should you transition? Is what we've just looked at. The different ways to break into the data field. And then the next thing we'll be looking at is some common challenges and then the solution to those challenges. But before we do that, at this point, I'll take a pause and I'll throw it open to everyone that is listening to me today. Have you come across challenges while trying to transition into the data field? Let's have a conversation. Let's discuss. Share some of your challenges and let's just talk about it before I'll bring up the slides that I have on challenges. Anyone willing to share challenges, or even if it's just something in your head that you've been thinking about, oh, how this is it. I know I've been hearing this thing about transitioning into the data field, but this thing is worrying me. This is my challenge. This is my concern. I'll take a pause and allow everyone. The floor is open. Go ahead. Let me stop sharing so I can see. Anyone want to talk about the challenges or concern? Yes, please go ahead. Samuel, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
So my challenge basically has been my previous experience while back in Nigeria. I've not been able to get a kind of data set to work in that area. So, because when I attended the boot camp, most of the project we work on were just basically things that have to do with CRM and HR related data.
Okay.
So when I found out that when I apply for jobs, I hardly get notice. So to be able to bridge the gap, I was introduced to somebody who tried to align my CV, but despite all that, I've not really achieved much result from it. So I don't know how to go about it.
Okay. So your challenge is access to data sets.
In a way, yes.
That is your challenge. Okay, you already know how to use the different skills: SQL, Excel, Power BI, or Tableau.
Not Tableau, but all the other one to some extent, yes.
Yes, so it's access to data sets. Good. Now, there are so many platforms or sites where you can get access to free data sets and where you can also have free projects to work on. Um, I don't have the links now, but I have a whole list and I can share that with you. Are you in the PDA community?
Yes.
Okay. So please ping me after this session and I will share with you websites where you can get loads of data sets. In fact, so many that data sets you can work with and practice with.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So Samuel, yeah. Any other Kadiri, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you for this event. My own challenge is almost close to what Samuel painted. I attended a session in Power BI sometimes back with the intention of, you building my skills in that area. Beside, I would say I fall in the domain expert section that you
Okay.
described and transitioning into data. But unfortunately, because what I do currently doesn't have a need for Power BI,
Mhm.
I've not been able to keep up with that. And I'm looking at the bootcamp as an opportunity to come back with the promises of the bootcamp. I am hoping that I'll be able to build enough portfolio to immediately get a role so that there's no gap between when I gather those knowledge and that I have to wait a long time. I think that's basically um, my own challenge.
Okay. Have you already enrolled for the bootcamp?
Yeah, I have.
You have. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. The one starting in July, right? Our bootcamp.
that's right. That's right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. Yours is getting roles. Okay. And then being able to build your portfolio. Again, yeah, we have lots of data sets, and during the bootcamp, you will build your portfolio. Yes. That will be covered. Any other concern? Any other concern? Challenges that you've come across while transitioning or while even considering that you want to transition? Okay, so if we don't have any more, let me check the chat. Um, I have been applying to data analytics roles and even BI after attending the bootcamp. All to know, my challenge now is I am forgetting all what I have been taught due to not securing a job. Starting in June. I got a job and information governance administration starting in June. If I start the role, won't I forget everything I'm being taught as my role with NHS would be admin? Okay, someone dropped this one. You see, the solution for you not to forget what you have taught is you have to keep practicing. You have to keep practicing. Just take it as a passion, you know, the building. We're working on projects. Get a portfolio. This is iPhone. Your name, I can't see your name, but it's iPhone there. So first of all, create a portfolio on GitHub and begin to update it. Just start working on projects. Small projects here and there every week. Since you are working, you can just tell yourself that, oh, this week, this is a project I'm going to work on, my data project. You come back after work, you work on the project. And then as you are in that role with your NHS, when you settle into the role, begin to look out for opportunity where you can use your data skill to support your supervisor or to support the job that you do on the role. I can assure you at some point, those opportunities will open up. Begin to look for opportunities. In the meantime, you have to keep working on projects. Keep working on projects. Go on YouTube, look for those little projects on YouTube. And when you do them, put them on your portfolio if you've created one already. And that will really help you. Okay, any other question? Let's see. before. Okay, that's all in the chat. Okay, so I'll pull up the one that I have, maybe to resonate with somebody. Um, just 1 second. I'll pull up some of the challenges that I have here, and then we can talk about them. The first one, common challenges and solutions. One is, I feel overwhelmed. So I hear that a lot from a lot of people. Oh, this is so overwhelming, too much to do. The honest solution to that is start small, stay consistent. Don't try to learn everything in one day. Start small. If you follow the roadmap that I just shared, it will really help you to put a structure around your learning. So you start with Excel, master Excel. When you finish mastering Excel, you move on to SQL, master SQL, move on to Power BI. Then you look for a project that involves all three of them. You know, there are projects where you need to use Excel, SQL, Power BI, where you move data from Excel into SQL, you create tables, and then from SQL, you move it to Power BI. So you're using all three skill sets, and then you can put that. So start small. Another question or challenge that I come across is when people say, I don't have experience in data field. What should I put on my resume? I don't have experience. The simple solution to this is your projects. These projects that we keep talking about, data projects, is equal to your experience. When you work on a project, put it on your resume. Put it there. That's your experience. Put it there. Another one is somebody says, oh, I'm afraid of failing or not being good enough. Yes, that's the imposter syndrome. We all find ourselves in that space every now and then. You are fear, you're afraid. Don't worry. Focus on progress. Celebrate the little progress that you make. You're not looking for perfection. You cannot be perfect in SQL, perfect in Excel, perfect in no. You will have enough skill set to go into that role. So you are good enough. Focus on the progress you are making, keep practicing, then join communities for support. So that when you are working on a project and um, you get stuck, you can just go to your community and say, oh, please, I'm working on this project, or who has done something? Who knows how to use Power Query in Excel? Who knows how to do DAX scripts in Power BI? Who can do this for me? I'm trying to use this function, I'm trying to use that. Communities will support. And that's why we also have the PDA. It's not just for job application alone. It's also to support you. When you're working on a project and you're stuck, ask questions on the group. Someone will always answer. When you work on a project, you have a dashboard, share it on the group. Ask people for feedback. Oh, I just created this dashboard. Please, I would like your feedback. That will help you build your skill set. Take advantage of that PDA community. It is there for everyone. There's another one that says, there's a lot to learn. How can I keep up? It is a continuous process of learning and adaptation. Just keep learning. Another says, I don't have a degree in data. Yes, we've covered this before. Even if you don't have a degree in data, don't worry. You can always acquire one as you progress. Come into the field. It is there for you. It's for everyone. We've talked about the mid-career guys who says, oh, I've done 10 years, 15 years before. Will I start from scratch? And I've talked about this already. Someone says when it comes to data, you have so many languages and disciplines to learn. There's Python, there's SQL, there's RPA, there's this. What should I do? Should I just know a bit of everything? No, it will be overwhelming for you. Start with SQL. SQL is mandatory. Start master SQL, then you can pick either Python or R, preferably Python, and just know about how to use Python for data analysis. You are not going into data science unless you want to become a data scientist. So you don't need to know how to use Python to build models and all that. What you need to know how to clean your data, how to build data pipelines, those things around data analysis is fine enough for you. So yeah, these are some of the questions that came up, and I thought to share today that it might resonate with someone here. My closing thoughts for us is that the data field rewards curiosity, consistency, clarity. Remember, everyone's journey is unique. Your journey is unique. With a practical roadmap like what I've shared, a strong community, you can break into the data field and succeed. Thank you, everyone. Um, we will leave room for questions. We have different channels. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, and we also have the PDA. I believe most of us are there in the PDA community. Ask for support whenever you need. There's always a data coach, someone to support you. Thank you, everyone. Time for questions. If you have any more questions, we can take them now before we close. Any more questions? The floor is open.